Hello, I'm Dee Meyer. I'm the Humanities Team Worldwide Recruiter and Volunteer Coordinator. I also am the coordinator for the Humanities Team University, and I'm here with my friend Julie Jacobs. Julie is a fierce realist who lives the polarity between life and the deep mystery of spirit. Julie Jacobs is a conceptual architect of soul-stirring raw power and potential that reaches deep into the heart of humanity as she lights a match to the mystical campfire of storytelling through her acclaimed work. As an international best-selling author, founder of I Am International Inc., co-creator of Perpetual Motion, screenwriter, teacher, intuitive, and artist, her creative endeavors guide the messiness of life across the bridge of humanity where it meets the magic and suddenly transforms into miracles. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, Dee. Thank you so much. What an honor it is to be able to get to hang out with you here a little bit. Thank you for that introduction. What perpetual motion is how energy moves through creation. So we each have an unlimited potential of possibilities available to us. And in order to reach those potentials or possibilities, we have to be able to connect to the energy of them, which is manifestation and abundance kind of 101. And, those of us who live in this world of understanding how energy works, we know that. But what perpetual motion actually does is connect us to that energy, like almost like a GPS system is the best way to kind of look at it, to see where we're not matching. So when you move in the process of perpetual motion, which is based on the natural elements, fire, earth, air, water, and wood, each of those elements demonstrates a polarity in human emotional experiences. And how we feel turns on the light for the energy to allow us to attract what it is we want. So many of us know the concepts of abundance and manifestation. We know the laws and how they work. What I feel like we're learning is how to know where we're blocked. And perpetual motion is a process that helps us find those blocks and be able to move them so that the energy moves in a sacred geometry that leads us where we want to go. So it's kind of a long-winded explanation, but that's what it is in a nutshell.
It's beautiful, and because I've worked with you a little bit with the program, I know it works. I am so incredibly grateful, and it's just instantaneous. Once you start doing the work, you are pulling in what you need, the lessons, the movement that you need. So Julie, we talked a little bit about defining and working with my warrior, my inner warrior, and I cannot tell you what has come to bear in the last few weeks, but it's all been lessons in working with that beautiful side of us that is strength, and it's really amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about the perpetual motion as an energetic GPS system, and how does that intersect with manifestation, abundance, creativity practices that are so well known?
Sure, and I kind of hit on it a little bit when we were going into the introduction, but the best way for me, I'm going to bring it back to myself for a minute. So, for the last couple of years, I have been called, like so many light workers, energy workers, whatever name we want to put around it, we know we've been called to deliver messages that will help humanity move closer to its truth. And there's so many of us, and we're all starting to connect with each other. Well, we understand, or at least let me make it personal, I understood the law of abundance and manifestation and how to create, but what was happening in my daily life wasn't matching what I knew. Mm-hmm. And so I really spent the last couple of years working on these huge energetic projects, trying to figure out how to ground them. So when you're taking sort of energetic principles and you're channeling or whatever medium you use to connect with information coming in, and then it would come into this third dimension, and for me it would get stuck. And I'd say, okay, universe, I'm hearing you, but something inside of me is blocking my ability to move it forward. And so I started thinking about perpetual motion, and really what that for me is a GPS. It's showing me where I'm not connecting.
Right.
series of sort of inquiry. And I just had so much fun with you when you so graciously agreed to do a little bit of perpetual motion with me not too long ago. And we it's a very sort of intuitive process, but it can be done in an instant. So when you look at the 5 elements, the first element is fire, which represents passion on one side and depression on the other. That's how do we want to live? Where's our juice? Where's our fire? Where's the divine spark that we're here to ignite in the world? Because we each have that spark. We're here for a reason. Right. And perpetual motion, the GPS of it helps us connect to the reason and passion. And then it moves us down to air, which is our unique self-expression. So it's Julie's way of putting that message that's coming through me and through my passion out into the world. And then we kind of move up to air, which is innovation on one hand and it's innovation on one hand and anger and frustration on the other. And wood is about making it real. And I think for so many of us, as sort of we've shifted through 2012 and into 2013, we know why we're here. We know what it is we have to say. And we sort of bounce up to wood where we're innovating and creating. And it's not coming across the way we feel like it should. And we get stuck in a spiral of anger and frustration, which keeps us from putting our creations out into the world. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of wood, and then you move over quickly to earth, which is a tangible manifestation. And that's the piece where if the energy isn't flowing in sacred geometry, we get stuck. Right. And so the duality is insecurity on one side and confidence, being a fully self-expressed, confident in our message. We know we got this, and we put it out. So many authors and speakers and creators right now who have these messages, I think are a little trapped in earth. We're not sure. We're not confident enough in our message to put it out there. So the GPS of perpetual motion goes into those aspects and their feelings, its energy, and we find out where are you blocked, Dee, or where am I blocked, Julie? And that's where then I know I need to do my work. Right. And in your case, you already mentioned the warrior. When we were sort of doing the process, we sort of hit on an energy for you that's this warrior energy. And that warrior was not necessarily your ally, prior to sort of looking at that energy.
Right, right.
And when you're able to turn the energy to its positive aspect, that warrior is your champion. That warrior is that power that enables you to get your message really out there. So the GPS shows us where we're blocked, and then we know exactly where to do our work.
Wonderful.
Versus sort of bouncing around.
Right.
And when we're in source flow, the energy of the divine leads us straight to manifestation and abundance. But we have to be in sync with the energy.
That is so true. A good deal of your work right now is focused on media, entertainment, creators, authors, writers, directors. Why have you focused here?
Thank you for that question. It's really interesting. Source speaks to us in a lot of different ways. And my short answer is, I have no idea where that came from because I don't live in Hollywood, and that's not really where I would have felt like I was called to go. But the energy led me to this group of creators. So when you think about creation in a third dimensional way, Hollywood, they create images that can inspire transformation on the planet. So when you look at media and entertainment, I'd say so much is wrong with what we traditionally see on television and in movies. Right. But there's a big group of people who are coming together and saying the venue of entertainment and media can be used for good. And so I joined my voice with Perpetual Motion with this group of entertainers and media outlets and said, look, if we want to create transformational messages, we have to work with the energy. And so I focused on sort of authors and screenwriters, producers, directors, because our creations, our messages for the world, are only as strong as the energy that we personally drive through it. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
So if I have this, I'll give you a tangible example. You and I have originally met because we did a lot of work together on Believe in the Moment. Mm-hmm. That came about because I am an author and had put my first book out about 3 years ago. I stand behind that book. It was a labor of love, but the act of putting it out into the world because it was so raw and vulnerable scared me to death.
Right.
And although I did very well with that book, I sabotaged it with my energy because I didn't believe that the world was ready for that message. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so what I found now is that if we want our messages to go out, it's the energy we hold inside of us about that creation that drives it.
Right.
If you want to be successful, you have to be in a line energetically with what wants to happen. And it just whoosh, there it goes. And that's really about source creation, about working with the divine as co-creator.
So perpetual motion has an energy of its own, a message. Why is this energy and information important?
I believe that I know I'm not alone, that we're at a critical time. There's just, I don't think there's any escaping the fact that we are, as a collective humanity, responsible for creating a new world, right? So we passed 2012 and the mystery and all of that, and here we are in 2013, and the energy says to me, hey, y'all can create whatever you want. Do you want to continue in this spiral downward, or do you want to move forward? And so as this energy has come through me, the energy itself is saying, from the divine, we want to co-create with you. You're not in this alone. So let's work inside the energy together to be able to move these messages out now, because they're congruent with the energy that wants to help us evolve as a human race. So it's coming, I think it's coming now because it's very practical. I mean, you've been through the process with me. I use perpetual motion every day. When I get stuck on something, I sit back in my chair, I look at the mobile I say, okay, where am I? What is this? Have I lost my voice? Am I not passionate about this? Am I angry, frustrated? Where am I? And then poof, I go, oh, I'm angry, frustrated. Well, then I'm not creating the way I need to. What can I do about that? And begin to shift the energy so that we can get these transformational messages out into the world, because the world needs them. I don't want to say now more than ever, because I think they were always necessary. But certainly now, well, now's as good a time as any.
Well, how can perpetual motion be applied to everyday life? For example, creating a healthier body, a better career, a stronger relationship.
Well, energy is energy, right? So, a lot of my work is with people who have messages to put out in the world, but the bottom line is we are energy. And the same energy that we're moving through our creations, we're moving through our relationships, we're moving through our body, we're moving through our finances, we're moving through our work in the world, our service. Energy is energy. And so when we use perpetual motion, we can apply it to anything, really. If I want a better body, but I'm not passionate about it, if I just go, oh, I don't like my body and I just can't imagine that it could be anything different, I'm missing fire. Without passion, you might start a change of body life plan, but 2 or 3 days into it, you're like, this is not, I don't want to do this anymore. And so perpetual motion can guide us really no matter what we're looking at.
Right. So you say perpetual motion is extremely effective for teams. Can you talk a little bit about how the energy moves through collaboration and co-creation? This is really an interest for me because of my work with Humanities Team and working with large numbers of people.
Yes, and that's actually the place where I get really excited. Again, I'm going to go back to, I think the people who will see this message, we're a group of people who've done a lot of inner work. We know the language, we talk the language, we live in the world where we understand for ourselves, and we've done a lot of personal work. I believe that, I know I'm not the only one, that change happens within. Be the change you want to see. But from the change inside of us, we have to move out then in co-creation with other human beings. Nobody's in this alone. We must come together. So we begin to come together as groups of people with a similar idea, and then you have all these perpetual motions banging into each other, right? So if I'm stuck in fire and you're stuck in wood, you're angry and frustrated and I'm depressed, team energy, the collective energy of all the individual energies that come to it. So perpetual motion looks at the individuals, we work on those blocks, and then we come together to move the energy of the collective in a way that can move projects and teams forward.
Contact information so my friends can go find you.
Yes, please. It's www.perpetualcreation.com or at julie@perpetualcreation.com.